You know the feeling, right? If you've got a fitness tracker or a smartwatch, it's that little buzz, that little animation when you finally close a ring. And for so many of us, the magic number that makes it happen is 10,000 steps. It's kind of become this universal sign of a good active day. But have you ever really stopped to think about it? Why 10,000? Not 9, not 11? Where did this number, our default fitness goal, actually come from? Well, let's get into it, because the answer is probably not what you're thinking. You'd assume it was born out of some massive, groundbreaking study by, the World Health Organization or some other big health group, a number that was painstakingly calculated for peak human health. Nope, that's not it at all. Okay, so here's the real story. The 10,000 step goal wasn't created in a research lab. It was dreamed up in a marketing department way back in the 1960s. A Japanese company was about to launch a brand new pedometer, and they called it the Manpoke. And guess what that translates to? 10,000 steps meter. The goal was literally the product's name. It was catchy, it was simple, and it was totally arbitrary. It was brilliant marketing, just not science. So, what does that mean? Should we just toss it out the window? If it's just some random number cooked up for an ad campaign, does it have any real value? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. Researchers decided to find out for themselves. So, a study published in the Brazilian Journal of Physical Therapy did exactly that. They got a group of adults who were pretty sedentary and overweight, and for 12 weeks, they gave them one simple goal: try to hit 10,000 steps a day. The big question was, could this marketing slogan actually lead to real, measurable health benefits? And wow, the results were pretty amazing. Just look at this table. After those 12 weeks, you can see everything you'd expect. Body weight went down, waist circumference got smaller, body fat percentage dropped. But look at that last line, total mood distress. That didn't just go down, it absolutely plummeted. And we're not talking about a small dip here. That is a huge, over 12-point drop in a score that combines things like anxiety, depression, anger, and fatigue. This simple walking goal, a number literally invented for marketing, had this massive positive effect not just on their bodies, but on their minds. So what's the takeaway here? It means that this accidental fitness goal, it actually works. It turns out that for people who are just starting out, having a single, clear, simple target can be an incredibly powerful motivator to just get up and get moving. But you knew there was a but coming, right? It's not that simple. Because while hitting 10,000 steps is clearly a good thing, relying on that one number as your only measure of fitness, well, that's a really flawed way to look at it. It's like reading one chapter of a book and thinking you know the whole story. There's actually a scientific term for this. Researchers call it reductionism. It's when we take something incredibly complicated, like our overall health and fitness, and we boil it all down to one single easy-to-track number. Yeah, it's convenient, but it's also a huge oversimplification of what's really going on. And this slide says it all, doesn't it? Judging your fitness by your step count is exactly like judging a book by its cover. You get a tiny glimpse of one thing, but you miss out on the entire rich story inside. I mean, just think about it for a second. What does a step counter miss? That really tough spin class you did? 0 steps. A heavy lifting session at the gym? 0 steps. It also has no idea if you're sprinting up a hill or just slowly meandering through a park. And maybe most important of all, it's just not an inclusive metric. For wheelchair users or anyone with lower limb impairments, a step goal is basically useless, and it leaves them completely out of the fitness conversation. Okay, so if steps aren't the whole picture, then what is? How are we supposed to build a real, complete picture of our own fitness? For that, we've got to turn to what the actual experts in the field recommend. And when it comes to experts, the gold standard is the American College of Sports Medicine, or the ACSM. These are the folks who provide the actual science-backed guidelines for what it takes to develop and maintain true fitness, and it goes way, way beyond a single number. See, the ACSM doesn't have one pillar, it has 4. First is cardiorespiratory exercise. That's where walking and running fit in. But for real fitness, you also have to have resistance training for strength, flexibility exercises, and something called neuromotor exercise, which covers things like balance and coordination. To be truly healthy, you need all 4. They're all non-negotiable. So, a better way to think about it is like a balanced investment portfolio, but for your fitness. For cardio, the ACSM suggests about 150 minutes of moderate activity a week. Then for the other 3, resistance, flexibility, and neuromotor, you want to hit each of those categories about 2 to 3 times a week. This isn't just about hitting a number. It's about building a body that's strong, mobile, and stable for your entire life. So let's be really clear. We're not saying the 10,000 step goal is bad. It's a fantastic starting line, especially for getting people off the couch. It's an amazing start. But that's just what it is, a start. It's not the finish line. The researchers from the Frontiers Journal put it perfectly. They said we should not rely critically on steps, meaning we can't just blindly accept it without understanding its reductive and limited features. We have to see the goal for what it is, a super useful but very simplified first step into a much bigger world. And that really just leaves us all with one final question to think about. Is your goal to chase a number on a screen, or is it to build a healthy, sustainable lifestyle? Because at the end of the day, real health isn't about hitting one single target. It's about building a strong foundation that's going to support you for a lifetime.